Everybody, here I am next to the official supply cabinet of the Organizational Leadership Department. I know somewhere you've always wanted to see, so that's why we're putting it on video. Well, not really, but we've got all these exciting office supplies here. How many of you have ever taken an office supply and brought it home? Well, I think many of us probably fall in that category. Some of us certainly might say we forgot. But when we take a look at things like taking office supplies, the question is, why do people do that? Sometimes it can be convenience, but it also can come down to things like what's fair. We're going to talk about this week a few topics that are pretty related to each other potentially. Organizational justice and fairness. We're going to talk about counterproductive work behaviors, things like stealing office supplies. And we're going to talk about work-life balance. This idea that we've got a whole bunch of stuff going on in our lives. We've got, things we're doing with our family. We've got things that we're doing for fun. We've got things for our schooling. We've got things for our job. And all these things are going on all at once, which can be a big issue. And so what you're going to see with the readings this week is we're going to be talking about each of these areas. Organizational justice, this idea of fairness in the workplace, that when things happen in the workplace, we can judge them as fair or not. We'll look at each of those types this week, talk about that. But these justice perceptions can significantly affect our behaviors, what we do, how likely we are to follow the rules, how connected we feel to our workplace. And in fact, some of those justice perceptions can lead to counterproductive work behaviors. This includes, sleeping on the job, not working as hard as you can, spending too much time at work on your phone rather than doing what you need to do. These counterproductive work behaviors are things that sometimes gets talked about as time theft. You're stealing from the organization by not doing what you're supposed to, and sometimes you're literally stealing, like we saw with the office supplies a minute ago. We'll talk a little bit about, in the slides this week, we'll talk about counterproductive work behaviors, but they can be connected to potentially to those feelings of fairness or lack of fairness. They can also be connected simply to people being burned out or stressed out as well. And that brings us to our last topic of the week as well, this idea of work-life balance. So work-life balance is all about that idea that we've got so many things going on in our lives that we're balancing, and we often have to make choices. So do you stay late at the office to get something done, or do you go to your kid's baseball game? Do you have time to hang out with friends, or do your hobbies, or do other parts of your schooling or your work life overlap and cause problems with that? We'll look at one example of this in the articles this week related to dual family careers and some of how that has an impact, but these are the types of things that happen all the time. Your case study this week, we'll look at that as well, of these balances we have to make. And that can cause stress when you are unable to balance well, when you're doing too much, when you should, get more sleep, get more rest, get more break. That can really wear you down. And so we'll be looking at all of these things this week. Again, if you need anything, if you run any issues, feel free to email me, and I will see you on the forums this week and through email. So, see y'all later.